Hello there, I'm Hammy, and today I'm testing this, the Velotric Summit 1. This is a 750 watt, $1,800, 28 mile an hour electric mountain bike, hardtail electric mountain bike. Velotric is a brand that I've had before. They gave me their Nomad one a couple of years ago, and that's a bike that I still have today, and that my parents absolutely adore. So it's nice to have another Velotric. In this video, I'm going to be putting the Summit 1 through all of these tests that you see right here. Everything will be timestamped down below, and by the end of this video, you should have all the information you need to decide if this is the right bike for you. But before we dive into specs, let's start with the most important test first. Alright then, Velotric claims the top speed on this bike is about 28 miles an hour, but what is cool about this bike is that if you hold down the M button right here, you can actually adjust the speed limit. It goes all the way down to 12 mile an hour and then all the way up to 28. There we go, set it to 28 miles an hour. Successful, I like that. This whole interface is pretty cool, man. It kind of reminds me of those late 2000s cell phones, although unfortunately this bike doesn't come with any interesting ringtones as far as I can see. You also have 3 riding modes. You have Boost, Trail, and Eco, which is basically slow, medium, and then the fastest mode this bike has. So we have Boost mode on. I'm going to raise the pedal assist all the way up to level 5, and we'll see how this thing does. I also have the draggy setup right here so we get the most accurate numbers. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, this test is just going to be on the throttle. Let's see how accurate the speedo is. A lot of the times the speedos on these bikes are pretty far off from the actual speed, but so far so good. Draggy is telling me 26. There's 28 mile an hour on the dash, 28 on the draggy. All right, that's as fast as this thing goes. That was a very quick top speed test. So the 1/8 mile time on this was about 20 seconds. Okay. All right, next I'm gonna raise up the seat because your boy is gonna be pedaling. It'd be nice if this thing had a little gas dropper post, but I guess I can't complain too much. It's an $1,800 e-bike. Okay, so on the way back, it's gonna be all powered by myself and the pedal assist. So 3, 2, 1, go. All right, there we go. Giving everything I have up the gears. It's 20 miles an hour ready. All right, top gear. It's 30 mile an hour, and the bike stops at 30. Interesting, there's a little governor at 31 mile an hour. Okay then, let's dive into the specs and features of the Summit 1. Like I've already mentioned, this bike features a 750 watt hub motor that has a claimed peak of around 1300 watts and will put out around 90 newton meters of torque. The battery is a fully waterproof 48 volt 14 amp hour UL certified unit, and Velotric claims will get you a maximum range of around 70 miles if you take it easy. Up front you get 120mm forks, as well as these great Kenda Tires, which is a nice quality touch. You're also getting an 8-speed Shimano cassette back there, although mine does need a lot of adjustment because it's been skipping gears a lot, but usually Shimano stuff is very good. It's kind of an industry standard for a lot of these bikes, so it's nice to see that the Summit 1 features them. You get about 15 different levels of pedal assist since they all behave differently depending on which riding mode you're in, as well as a torque sensor. Now the difference between a torque sensor and a cadence sensor is that a cadence sensor more or less just does all the work for you, whereas a torque sensor will actively respond to the level of effort you put into your pedal strokes. So if you're looking for a bike that caters towards helping you out with exercise, I'll be checking this out. But if you start feeling lazy like I do most of the times, you can always resort back to the thumb throttle to ease the lactic acid pains. You get this really cool TFT display with this control module, and overall it's very easy and natural to use. There are a lot of options you can go in and mess around with. It's super easy to understand, and I doubt that most of us will have to refer to the manual in order to operate it. This bike does not come with a dropper post, but it is built to accommodate one, so you can add that at a later date. The claimed weight on this bike is around 62 pounds, which seems to be the average for bikes in this price range. Speaking of price, you can pick all this up for $17.99. Don't forget to use that link down below to help out the channel. Okay then, let's do our first trail test. This is a beginner bike, so I'm going to be taking up a relatively beginner trail. Nothing too fast, nothing too crazy. It's going to be pretty ideal for the ideal customer that would buy a bike like this. I'm also going to keep track of my mileage data. That way, once I'm done, we can see how we did on range. Okay, going to start on Eco. Put the pedal assist up to 5 because after all it is 63 pounds. And let's give it a go. Okay, so this is all Eco mode. Doesn't feel like much assistance at all, I have to say. That's a bit heavy. Oh, they put gates here. I better remember that when I come racing down. Ah, man, that's a shame. Those are my favorite sections too. Why does the local government have to ruin everything? Okay, I always like to use the pedal assist to get me going because it is a heavy bike on the legs. So we're moving in Eco mode. I can tell you already, this is not a strong enough pedal assist for me.
All right, I gotta change that. That's not enough. Okay, so I'm gonna be swapping from Eco, and you know what, screw it. Let's just go on boosted, put it on easy mode. I'm in no mood for hard exercise. So now I'm just doing it with a thumb throttle. I have to say, it's making it up nice and easy. Really good. Obviously this trail isn't too steep, nothing too difficult, so, you know, should be easy work for this bike. Back to the switchbacks. Ooh, I'm not very good at switchbacks. That's gonna be fun on the way back down. All right, let's try the pedal assist in the new boosted mode. Here we go, that's a lot better. That's much easier. I have to say though, this bike still makes you work for it, man. If you are not in the best cardio shape like myself, yeah, this will get you into shape. But I guess it is kind of a good thing because people do mountain bike for exercise. And I think what's cool about these pedal assist bikes is that you get the workout, but you also get to finish the trail. Okay, this feels like a good stopping point. Gonna drop the post, get ready for some downhill fun. Ow, ow, I got a thing on my foot. Oh, they suck so bad. I gotta say, I do like these Kenda tires. Using the thumb throttle, keep the speed up. This is a pretty tight trail. I'd say this is probably what most people who would buy this bike would be riding. Okay. Here's the first switchback. See how we do. Ah! Not good at those. Those are pretty tight. All right. Pick up a little bit of speed. Suspension is pretty firm, I have to say. Woo! Little jump right there. Bit of a braking test. And into the next switchback. Woo! Just around that one. That is not proper technique. That's just my technique. Down nice and easy, pretty tight. It's a little overgrown, can't really see where I'm going. Surprise switchback, terrible technique. All right, heading down. Pick up a little bit more speed here. Nice, corners very well. Whew, almost went off. God, this track's narrow. And there we go. That was that. And bang. Okay, when I started out on the trail, I was at 83%, and now I'm down to 75 after about a mile. So there's that information.
The following day, I took the Summit 1 to a local mountain biking hotspot with steeper trails and a few jumps in order to stress test the bike's overall durability and range.
All right, let's roll. Whoa, hey buddy. That'll be a good thumbnail. Biker attacked by vicious puppy. Yeah, I can do that. Woo! There it is, dead end and pinball. Would you like to die or play an arcade game?
Well, dying does sound pretty good.
Nice to see you're at a positive time in your life, Julian. Tell you what, riding a bike this heavy does take some getting used to. Hey look, this is where they filmed that one scene in 300. Come on. Woo! Gotta pedal. Gotta stand up and pedal. Alright, what does that sign say? The sign says nothing. How unhelpful. Goodness, this is so narrow. Look at that. Trail, death.
My goal with this adventure was to test the Summit 1 on a cleaner, more flowing trail. However, the one we found turned out to be a double black diamond.
Whoa, okay. Bit a little off more than we could chew, huh?
It was not a complete loss, however. While my rusty mountain biking skills were not up to the job with a bike that I'm not too familiar with, the Summit 1 managed it just fine. And I feel that in the hands of a good rider, you could probably get quite a lot out of this bike. Now, some of you may have noticed my buddy is riding a Suron, and I would not recommend bringing one of these to a place like this, but I didn't really have much choice as my camera guy needs to get around on something. Which begs the question, do you think Surons should be allowed on mountain bike trails? Anyway, I took the Summit off of a few little bunny jumps to see how it would handle, and while the jumps weren't massive, I'm happy to say that I did not find a single build quality issue. And while the bike's weight is a little awkward at first, especially when you're coming from a normal mountain bike, once you get up to speed on this bike, you really don't notice the 63 pounds that it's carrying. At slower speeds and steeper inclines, however, I certainly wished I had a little bit more power, but overall, it did a good job.
Okay, so after 9.6 miles, I'm down at 51%, so half the battery. I will be honest, most of that was on assist level 5 with the throttle. Overall, not too bad. You can get pretty decent range out of this thing.
Okay, then let's talk about some things I liked and maybe some things I didn't like about the Velotric Summit 1. First compliment I'd like to give is to myself for this awesome jacket I got from Beyond Rider. Pretty cool, man. I dig it. I feel like one of those handsome guys from the Vampire Diaries in this thing. Okay, so let's talk about the bike. What are some things I liked about it? Well, the first compliment I want to give is the build quality. Overall, it's very nice. The components feel like quality components. Didn't have a single issue with this bike no matter what I put it under. My mediocre riding skills proved to strike no fear into the build quality of this bike, so yeah, overall very nice. Another thing I liked was the handling. It felt very good on some of the more narrow trails. Once you get up to speed on this bike, you kind of forget how much it actually weighs. You forget that this bike weighs 63 pounds. However, at slower speeds, that's when things do change and you do start to feel that weight. This brings me on to my first con with this bike is I really was hoping for a little bit more power out of this thing. This bike did certainly struggle on some of the more steeper inclines, but then again, this is for beginner riders, not Red Bull athletes. And yeah, if you're aware of that fact, you'll have no problems with this thing. But I would like to see a little bit more torque coming from this bike in the next generation. And the only other real con I have with this bike is the front fork. It is very firm, very rigid, and I did not feel like it absorbed much of anything at times, to be completely honest. But the fork is one of the first things that people normally upgrade on their mountain bikes, so I can understand why they didn't throw a ton of money into the front fork. You can pick up a pretty decent used fork for like $300 now. So if I was to keep this thing long term, I'd probably do that. Apart from that, man, it's a very simple bike. Not a lot to get wrong, not a lot that is wrong. Overall, Velotric did a fantastic job for $1,800, man. You can't go wrong. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next review.